Welcome to Ayurveda and Spirituality with your host, Alakananda Ma, a renowned Ayurvedic expert and a graduate of a top London medical school. She is the principal of Alundi Ayurveda Gurukula, a unique apprenticeship-style school in Boulder, Colorado. She is a spiritual mother, teacher, flower essence maker, and storyteller. Join us as we uncover the timeless principles of Ayurveda, discover practical tips for enhancing vitality, and explore the deeper dimensions of spirituality that intertwine with the ancient science of life.
Namaste. Well, it's time to talk about spring, how we prepare ourselves for spring, how we conduct ourselves during the spring season. It's only barely March at the time that I'm recording this. And when I was out for my walk the last couple of days, I walk around the little loop, and at the top of the loop, some acquaintances of ours that we know from the Shambhala Center have a really amazing garden. They have something blooming pretty much any time of year. And now already I see snowdrops, such a beautiful early spring or late winter flower. I see snowdrops and some special irises that they have that come up every year, even before crocuses. So spring is on its way, and we're always excited about spring. It's such a romantic time, but it's also the season when Kapha is going to give us trouble, even if we are not of the Kapha Prakriti. We still can have all kinds of Kapha troubles. I myself am Pitta, but I know I'm going to have issues in spring with allergies. And luckily, since I've been using air purification and wearing masks when I go out, it hasn't been that terrible rollover from flu season to allergy season so far. Not for a while, but here's what the Ashtanga Hridaya says in chapter 3 of Sutrasthana. Kapha, which has undergone increase in Shishira. Shishira is the later part of winter, the January, February sort of time. Kapha becomes liquefied by the heat of the sun in Vasanta. That beautiful word, Vasanta, refers to spring. So the problem is that solidified Kapha that increased all through the winter, now it's starting to liquefy. And that liquefying Kapha is going to lower agni, lower the digestive fire. And that's where we're going to get all kinds of Kapha problems, asthma, allergies, an exacerbation of prediabetes or diabetes. All kinds of Kapha problems are going to come along at this time of year. So much of spring is exciting, beautiful, romantic. We look forward to it. It's also a time when we have to give Kapha a slap down. Remember, treat Vata delicately like a flower. Treat Pitta like a brother-in-law with gifts and favors. Treat Kapha like an enemy with kicks and punches. We've got to control Kapha. And the texts say that ideally we should control Kapha with emesis, with vaman, with therapeutic vomiting. This, frankly, is not the favorite thing. It's certainly not like your gorgeous Ayurvedic spa, relaxing experience. It's not anything that you particularly might look forward to, but it can be very helpful. At Alandi, we don't really do the traditional Ayurvedic way of doing Vaman. That's really intense. You have to eat a lot of kheer, a lot of rice pudding, and then tickle the uvula with a feather, drink emetic tea, and throw it up bout upon bout upon bout. We never really learned how to do that, although I definitely watched a presentation on it in a clinic in London, which even more put me off it. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's part of Ayurveda. But what we were fortunate to learn was the yogic type of Vaman that is taught in the Shat Kriyas, the yogic cleansings. And that's a pretty simple and easy way of doing Vaman, where we can throw up typically normal saline, although Dr. Lard also offered us an alternative of throwing up licorice tea or alternating normal saline and licorice tea. So this is a yogic practice, and you have to learn this from a yoga teacher who has gained expertise in the Shatkriyas. That's how we learned it. We actually were so fortunate. We had the opportunity to apprentice with Swami Shivalingam, who was being hosted at our friend's house just a few blocks away. We got to apprentice with him and study Shatkriya Karma in depth back in the early 90s. That was a great experience for us. So you want to have a yoga teacher that studied at Bihar School of Yoga, or with someone that studied at Bihar School of Yoga, or who has otherwise gained expertise in doing the yogic Vaman. And if you can do that, if you can actually do the Vaman, that's going to be very beneficial for you. That's certainly a way that I have been able to overcome some of the trials of asthma and allergies just by conquering that kapha, doing the Vaman 2 days in a row. But there are other things you can do if you can't find a teacher to help you with Vaman. We usually fold the Vaman into a whole Ayurvedic approach where we're doing Panchakarma. So we want to make the body ready with the internal oleation, typically with tikta ghee, a ghee that's medicated with bitter herbs. We want to make the body ready with some abhyanga, some oil massage, and some sveden, some sweating, such as a ginger baking soda bath after doing the oil massage. That's described as the process of ripening the mango. Once the mango is ripened, then if you're able to have a guide to help you to do the Vaman, you can do the Vaman. We've been luckily at Alandi, we have been able to train a number of people as who Vaman facilitators, but we always do pick people who are already well qualified yoga teachers. But even if you can't do the Vaman, you can also at least do what's known as the Shiro Virecham, which is Nasya. You can do nose drops, special nose drops, and that'll also really help to clean out that kapha that's causing your allergies and your sinus problems. Typically, those kind of nose drops should have some vacha in. They should be a good kapha soothing nose drops. We have a couple of nasyas that we use here at Alandi that I created. One is our typical, we just call it a kapha nasya. Those are nose drops that are a really good friend for anyone who typically tends to get kapha provoked We also have a special nasya for people that get chronic sinus problems that might include a fungal and candida, which is a type of fungus, candida type of elements. So again, the nose drops in context here. We can do nose drops on nasya on a daily basis. We very often do use that. But if you're doing nasya here for a key part of your spring cleanse, then you want to make sure that you have ripened the doshas, got that kapha on the move by doing your internal oleation and your oiling and sweating. So that's how we conquer the kapha. And then usually we always do some basti, some Ayurvedic enema as part of any panchakarma process, because basti is besti for vata, or basti is besti for vata. We want to always calm down vata with doing some medicated enemas, both oil and decoction. So the kapha, which has undergone increase in shishira in the cold season, becomes liquefied by the heat of the sun in Vasanta, and that diminishes the agni and gives rise to all kinds of diseases. So control the kapha quickly with the vaman, with the nasya, with the other therapies. If you can't even do that, if you can't do any kind of panchakarma, at least this is time when you want to get into a nice kapha soothing diet, having foods that are easily digestible and dry. And by dry foods, we especially mean foods that are low fat. That's so get onto a kapha soothing diet with some roasted vegetables, some broiled vegetables, even some steamed vegetables, but getting off of some of those higher fat, more warming foods that you've been enjoying all winter and getting into a lighter diet. We're going to give the students pretty soon a vegan souffle that we make with asparagus, a great spring food because it's seasonal. We make it with asparagus and lemon and besan flour. We're going to do some bitter green soup. Eat your bitter greens. Now is when those little dandelions are popping up. Eat your bitter greens. Have your lighter diet. It's time for dry massage. Massage using dry powders. And ideally, mild trampling, which is basically barefoot shiatsu or Thai massage. But anyway, having some good brisk massage. So you've got to conquer kapha in the spring. Once you've done whatever you can do, a full panchakarma with vaman, if you can get in touch with one of our great vaman coaches, or panchakarma with some nice nasya, or just getting onto a good light green, bitter, astringent, kapha soothing diet. Now you can come out into the spring season. It says anoint your body with fragrant powders like saffron and sandalwood, as recommended here, and aguru, which is kind of like myrrh. Um, don't anoint your body with, aside from the fact that you can't afford to anoint your body with saffron, don't do it if you have a white skin. It will not look pretty. You'll look jaundiced. As long as you have some good pigment, you'll look very beautiful if you could afford to anoint your body with saffron. Um, so what then? Some of the foods that are good to have at this time of year: barley. Barley is just a wonderful Kapha soothing food as long as you are able to eat gluten because it is a gluten food. Can also enjoy wheat. Again, if you can eat the gluten, then wheat is considered as a perfect food for the time of year. Honey, because the honey now is the old honey, it's the aged honey. The bees are not currently making it, and that aged honey really conquers kapha. If you eat meat, you should have meat of dry land animals and roast the meat so it'll be drier. Here we go. They're going to come in season soon. The mangoes. Drink mango juice. Yeah, I can't wait. Mango juice mixed with fragrant substances like cardamom. And how do you enjoy this mango juice? In the company of friends. And it should be served by beloved women because the sweet fragrance of the women will make the mango juice much more delicious, as will the grace, the text says, of their lily-like eyes. Yes, I know. This text is written from the standpoint of a man, the standpoint of a heterosexual normative type man, and he will enjoy his mango juice best if it's served by beloved women. I have had a lesbian, one of my lesbian students were like, sounds great to me. So, if you want your uh, mango juice served by women, that's fantastic. Could also have your mango juice served by your boyfriend. That could be very nice too. Um, the drink being served in this wonderful way is going to satisfy not only the mind but also the heart. It really does, because mango is hridayam, means it is a food that benefits the heart both on the emotional level of joy and satisfaction and also in terms of actually being good for heart health. This is also a time of year when we should take asavas and arishtas. Those are the Ayurvedic medicated wines. Don't take that during your panchakarma. Take that after you've done your panchakarma, if you're going to do it, whatever cleanse you're going to do. After you've gone through your whole reintroduction of foods, then you can think about things like drakshasava, kumari asava, these great fermented beverages. They also used to take fermented sugarcane juice and fermented grape juice back in the day. There's also honey water. That's a lovely one. That we can definitely access. My friend, a fellow beekeeper, did in fact just bring me another jar of honey when he came to our movie night last week. So enjoy the honey water. That's so good for calming kapha. Also, you can boil the water with nice herbs. They do recommend sandalwood, but you could do moringa, tulsi, just some nice teas. You can also boil the water with a herb we do use quite often, musta. And then remember spring. Now the whole thing starts to sound like Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony and also Delius on hearing the first cuckoo in spring. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. The person should spend his midday happily. Go for picnics. It's time you should go out for picnics. The person should spend his midday happily in the company of friends. We actually just went with our dear friend Rishikesh, and we went to Mother Cabrina's shrine a little early for enjoying the spring because it's still winter. but we didn't actually have a picnic. So now they do have a family picnic area at Mother Cabrina's shrine. We have gone for many a kitchery picnic there, but this time we just went, and while they climbed up top, me having a broken shoulder, not wanting to risk the black ice, climbing up top, I had a nice sit in the sun in the Rosary Garden looking at Mother Mary. Um, but nothing much was blooming yet because not really spring yet. But anyway, for spring you should go for picnic and have pleasant games. We're not talking about video games here. We're talking more parlor games, or gentle sports or whatever. Games and pastimes and storytelling. Have fun with your friends in the forest. Get your nose out of the computer. Put away your phone. Have fun in the forest with your friends or the gardens with your friends. Whether it's a cool breeze from the south, because that breeze from the north, uh, my friend was just writing about it, how it's I, I saw my friend Linda post on Facebook. It's summer in the sun and winter in the shade. So you've got to have a southerly breeze or it'll make you really chilly. Plenty of water all around. So lakes, ponds, going down to the creek. As it starts to get hotter, choose the filtered sunlight. The land is supposed to be covered with shining crystals. That could be hard to come by, although uh, you can see it in the Snowy Mountain Range, which are called the Snowy Mountains, not because they're covered in snow, but because they're literally covered in shining crystals. And then, of course, we get into the cuckoo. Yes, the cuckoo. We don't get to hear the cuckoo here. We get to hear the chickadee. Beep, Chippy, Chippy. That's pretty cool. But boy, I miss cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. What do you do? In April, I open my bill. In May, I sing all day. In June, I change my tune. In July, away I fly. In August, away I must. We English kids all grew up on that beautiful cuckoo nursery rhyme. And we grew up hearing the cuckoos. One very happy memory is going out to a village church for Easter Day morning and hearing the first cuckoo in spring on Easter Day morning. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. It couldn't have been more perfect for Easter Day morning. So the cuckoo is supposed to be everywhere making pleasant sounds and engaged in love play. That's supposed to be the cuckoo doing the mating games rather than you doing the mating games at your picnic with your friends. There are all kinds of trees, and the trees the trees are getting ready. We've had the Jewish calendar New Year of trees already. They're starting to bud. They're getting ready. They're getting ready to bud break. That magical moment of first fresh green is coming, and the beautiful sweet smelling flowers, the blossoms, the crocuses, the daffodils, the tulips, they're all on their way. And those are the things that make spring so wonderful. But essentially, what the texts are saying is we want you to have a happy spring of picnics and games with your friends in the park, the forest, the garden, Mother Cabrina's shrine, or wherever you want to go. But in order to enjoy it and not be sneezing all the time, first of all, you've got to conquer Kapha. So let's get Kapha conquered first. Vaman, if you can do it. Whatever panchakarma you're able to do, make sure that panchakarma does include some good nasya to conquer your Kapha. Get on a nice Kapha-soothing diet. Drink your bitter green soups. Have your asparagus, your artichokes, all those wonderful foods of spring. Have the barley, have the honey water and the aged honey, the tulsi tea, and then enjoy. Then you'll be able to enjoy. But still, be careful of some things that just don't work in the spring season. Don't have cold food. Don't bring in the ice cream yet. Wait for summer. No ice cream in spring. You're just going to provoke up your Kapha. Don't have foods that are hard to digest. Don't do other things that will provoke Kapha, like long naps and foods that are fatty. It's not the time for the French fries or the Belgian fries or the English fries or any of the fatty fried foods. It don't have too much of the sour taste because that's going to provoke your Kapha. And don't get into the sweets too much. Save that for summer. Sweets will have their day. Desserts will be all right once it gets really hot. But for now, not too much fatty, not too much sour, and not too much of the sweet foods. So if we can follow through with that advice, get Kapha conquered, and then go for some nice picnics. Even if you don't have to go anywhere, we'll also, as soon as it's warm enough, we'll have nice picnics in our back garden, enjoying the beauty of the spring flowers in the garden and the pleasant company of our friends. So picnics at home, picnics on outings. In my family, we used to have lovely expeditions, which we called looking for signs of spring. My dear parents, my Cockney mum, who said all birds to her were either a sparrow or a pigeon, who didn't grow up with country life. She loved to go out with us in the beautiful green rolling Leicestershire countryside to look for signs of spring, to look for the pussy willows, the catkins, the bluebells, and all the gorgeous signs of spring. Have a happy spring. Namaste.
Thank you for tuning in to Ayurveda and Spirituality with Alakananda Ma. We hope today's exploration has ignited a spark of curiosity and insight within you. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us a 5-star review and share it with a friend. For more enlightening discussions and practical wisdom on Ayurveda and spirituality, subscribe and join our Facebook group, Alundi Ayurveda. To allow us to continue sharing valuable content, consider donating to Alundi Ashram. The links will be in the show notes. Until next time, may you walk the path of Ayurveda with grace and embrace the light of spiritual wisdom in your journey.
Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushpam